What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show. Sorry for the background. Hey, we have to improvise, okay? For those of you who know, I'm out here in Utah at the trial of Charlie Kirk's preliminary trial, or pre-trial is what they call it. And I got a lot of things that I want to say about this. And some of you guys probably saw the live stream earlier. We're broadcasting the entire trial on our show. But I also stepped in, during the lunch period and gave my synopsis of what I saw. But let me just tell you guys, if this is the first time watching it, man, it was a surreal experience, man. Being there with Erica and the family, it was emotional. Just my heart breaks for Erica. My heart breaks for what she has to go through when she did nothing but be a good wife, and a lunatic decided to kill her husband. Now, I'll say this off the top because I want people to be very clear about this, because court proceedings in the United States of America, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. And so Tyler Robinson is innocent until he's proven guilty in the court of law. But let me tell you some things that I observed in the court that should debunk a few things that people are saying on the internet. The first thing is, some people are saying that Tyler Robinson was never on campus. Well, we have evidence now of investigators who have seen him on campus over 4 times, or around 4 times being on campus, before the shooting, during the shooting, and after the shooting. There's a few other things that caught my attention, but we'll go through them methodically here after a while. But it was a very interesting experience, man. Seeing Tyler Robinson in the courtroom, knowing that he allegedly took my friend's life is very difficult to see. And I can't imagine from the family's perspective how they're just dealing with having to look at him the entire time. I mean, any smirk, any look, any smile, anything outside of looking distressed is probably very stressful for the family. And there was a lot of questions you guys asked me earlier, and I answered them, so you got to go back and look at that. But there was a few other things. I got my notes. I don't know what I did. I put my notepad over there, but I got my notes that I had. Hold on one second. Let me get a couple notes for you, because I want to make sure I touch on a few things, because I think it's very telling. One of the things that I think is important to note is the manner of death from the autopsy. But I think it's more important right now for me to establish the difference between trial and the pretrial. I think that's something that we need to establish. The pretrial's burden of proof is just probable cause. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt like it is in a regular trial. It's not the preponderance of evidence like you see in a civil trial. It's just the burden of proof is, if a reasonable person with these circumstances would believe that this person could have done the crime. That's all it is. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not that you got to prove it in this pretrial hearing. It's the prosecution presenting evidence that a reasonable person would believe, and in this case, the magistrate, the judge, is going to have to make that determination that is it reasonable that with all the evidence that's been presented that we could take this trial forward, or we take this forward to trial. One of the things that I thought was very interesting, besides him being discovered on campus multiple times, 4 times to be exact, was the autopsy. A lot of people are lately saying that, oh, it was a microphone and all this other stuff. The defense is not even arguing that. At least so far, they haven't argued that whatsoever. It has been shown from the prosecution that the autopsy was there. It was presented in the court, and the autopsy yielded that it was a homicide. His cause of death was a homicide, and that the manner of death was a gunshot wound to the neck. So for everybody out here still talking about all that other stuff, lying to you because they're not here. They couldn't bother to be here. They couldn't bother to cover the story, and they're gonna say all this crazy stuff. But I think the judge in this case has been incredibly fair. If you watch the live stream, the defense is objecting to almost everything that they could possibly object to, and it's the same soup warmed over. In my opinion, all the defense is doing is trying to muddy the water so you can't get a clear perspective of what the prosecution is trying to lay out. Because the more that they go object, and they got to go through the rigmarole, object, then therefore the people that are watching it can't continue with the line of questioning that leads you to understanding where the prosecution is going. But the evidence is coming out slowly but surely. They're building a case. I think that it seems to be a very fair trial at this point. I got to give my hat off to the judge. I said it a few seconds ago, but I think the judge has been very fair. And the way he's been treating the case, I think the prosecution is bringing up incredible points. And I think the defense is doing what they can to try to preserve Tyler Robinson. And we'll see as the trial moves forward what new evidence is brought about. The reason that I decided to do this live is because if any of you guys have questions along the way, I'd love to answer your questions, because there's so many things that went on today. 8 hours of hearing testimony and all of that other stuff, and I can't think of everything at once. I wrote it down, but I didn't write it succinctly enough because look at that chicken scratch. But anyway, I just want to touch base on that, talk a little bit about the trial, but it is very interesting, and I hope that you guys watch it. We'll have it live on my channel every day of the trial, and I'll try to pop in and give some updates on it. But ask your questions as we do the live stream. If you have some things that you want to ask, if you have questions about what happened here, this, that, and this and other. I know people brought up the holster thing. They haven't even addressed the holster thing yet, which is something that I heard for the first time. Was there was a holster found, like with a handgun. It was a handgun holster that was disregarded. Nobody around it. I don't know if they collected it for evidence. There's no evidence that would lead to believe that somebody used a handgun in this situation. So that was one thing that was brought up in the court that I'm waiting to hear back from, or at least hear the defense pose an argument about, and maybe the prosecution can explain. One thing that happened today in the trial that I think people who are naysayers are going to put out there is that the video footage of Tyler Robinson, or allegedly Tyler Robinson, on campus in various areas, all the evidence and proof that they had of him being there, they made it into a compilation video, and there were some markers on the video that had like a circle or like a red dot, you know, kind of indicating where he's at on the camera, zooming in so you can see it better. The judge ruled that it wasn't admissible without certain fact patterns to enter it into evidence. But tomorrow they're going to have an opportunity to put it in, and I think it's going to be very easily put into evidence once they do what the judge asked them to do, is doing it appropriately and putting it in without any question marks of the legitimacy of the actual video that was compiled. So I think that was something that came up, and if you're a naysayer, I would say that the naysayers are going to say, look, see, they didn't have the evidence. No, they're going to be able to put that in the evidence. I don't think it's going to be a problem whatsoever. All right, let's get to a couple other things that happened today or over the weekend. And y'all bear with me. I literally been sitting in trial for 8 hours and my brain is about to pop. And then I'm sitting in here and it's hot up in here. So let's get to the young lady on the bus. This was the craziest thing that I've seen all weekend. I couldn't talk about it because I was traveling, but this is the craziest thing. I don't understand how they try to make this girl out to be Rosa Parks or somebody. They have her on the bus, as you can see pictured here, like she's an innocent little black girl that's getting mobbed by a bunch of white supremacists. First of all, I feel like every single dude in there is a fed. None of these dudes look like, nobody's doing this, dude. Nobody's coordinating this good. They just ain't doing it. Even the Proud Boys, all their t-shirts didn't look the same. These people look exactly the same. And what are they doing? They're staging for photo ops, because not one percentage point of threat she was facing a single percentage point of threat while being on the train with these weirdos. Not one time. Not one time did she get assaulted. Not one time did they say anything to her inappropriately. No racial slurs, no nothing. No even complaints of it. But they want to get this picture and stage it as if this is the modern day Rosa Parks, which I think is completely stupid. And people have brought this point up, and I think that is valuable to talk about, or invaluable to talk about, is that she's safer. A black girl on a bus with white supremacists is safer than a white girl on a train or a bus with a deranged black man behind her, because that girl got killed and stabbed to death, and this girl just is captured in a photo. But here's some stuff that they didn't tell you about that I don't know if it's verified, if this is her, but I want y'all to look at this young lady. We got a clip before that, but then we're gonna show a clip of her looking like she had a booty in the air, stripping on the thing, and then she got arrested over it. We'll get to that in a minute. But this is a clip. This next clip should be a clip of a lady responding or giving her commentary, and she already looked like she's stupid enough to give bad commentary. Wrote a clip.
First, Godspeed to that young woman who found herself in an extraordinary circumstance. And when I think about what I feel like I've been trying to grapple with and explain for the last 18 months, since the election or however long it's been. This photo perfectly captures it. And for me, personally, it's the anonymity that strikes me about this photo. And the uniformity, right? Like the outfits or whatever. But I don't know who voted for who in the election that brought all of this about, or even in the last 10 years. And certainly, sure, there are people who, like, you know, have the sticker, have the flag, or the attitude, or whatever. And sure, you can point those out. But when you run the numbers, you can't, right? And that is a terrifying feeling, to be surrounded by this anonymous malevolence. And that's what you're seeing here.
All right,
Anonymous
get this fat lady off my screen. First of all, this lady, nothing happened to her, not even a slur. And we'll show a video of how nice they were to people on the train. But I'm telling you, this is the ACL, not the ACLU. What's that? The Southern Poverty Law Center funding these groups to make it appear that there's white supremacy going on, so everybody can take photos and feel shocked. It's 35 white dudes doing nothing. They're not accomplishing anything. They got American flags doing what? It's like 35 of them in the whole country. I haven't seen anybody in any other state dressed like this, doing anything anywhere in the country. Just these same knuckleheads dressed in this uniform that's probably purchased by the Southern Poverty Law Center or the FBI, the CIA or something, just to make a photo op so people can have something to be mad at. We got some other footage. This is the girl allegedly with a booty in the air on the same train. Roll the clip. Now they add the little spooky music to it. But we blurred it out, but a booty in the air. Booty just in the air, like a newborn baby, just booty just in there. Grown woman. And here's a mugshot allegedly. I say allegedly because it looked just like the girl, but I haven't physically verified it. But people are sharing this online that she got arrested for indecent exposure. Maybe, just maybe, this little innocent black girl that y'all want to be the modern day Rosa Parks really is the criminal on the doggone bus and not these weirdo white supremacists, quote unquote. All right, let's play a clip of them on the train or them running through the community. No, we got the View. I want to play them first. Can we go to them and then go back to the View? It's a video of them. I think it's this one. There you go. Roll it.
Heat stroke.
So dangerous.
Yeah, you do heat stroke. Oh, you've been to the gym. How you sweat.
So spooky. Look at it. Oh my gosh. I'd be terrified. Khakis.
Don't mean to cramp you up here, sir. We ain't getting no AC. I'm at a...
Maybe it's 150 of them. But don't mean to cramp you up, sir, ma'am. And they want to make these people out to be like they really Ku Klux Klan members. They don't even have weapons. They don't even have a stick in their hand. They have nothing. Bunch of weirdos with khakis walking around, probably getting paid to do it. Here's the View, because you know they stupider than two left shoes and an eight-legged man. Roll the clip.
As a black woman, my lived experience in this country was embodied by a photograph that was taken in celebrating the 250th.
Yeah. There was a 4th of July march.
Time out. I'm about to blow up in this place. Her experience in America is encapsulated in this video. Let me just explain to you real quick what she's really saying. Her lived experience as a black person in America is encapsulated in a video, which means it's a bunch of bull crap that's fake propaganda, meaning that people want to portray it as if a young black girl is being treated a certain way when obviously she's not. That is her lived experience. Trying to push on you that because she black, things are happening, untoward to her in her life, but in reality, it's not happening like that. Black people got just as much opportunity as anybody else in this country. I'm so sick of people playing the victim card, dude. Really, at the end of the day, your mama and them sorry. That's why that's why things don't go well for you. Ain't got nothing to do with black people. I mean, got nothing to do with white folks. White people ain't worried about y'all. They living a life doing their thing. Y'all ignorant Negroes are not raising your kids. Daddy ain't around. Mama still being a victim. I don't need no man mentality. Then she raised a girl to say, I don't need no man. Then y'all ain't got no man. And you're just sleeping around, having kids out of wedlock, multiple kids. I understand the first time you make a mistake. Oops. Y'all got 5, 6 kids out of it, and ain't no baby daddy. And they be mad because a man don't want to marry you because you got some other dude, 3 other dudes' kids in the house. And he don't even take care of them. But anyway, quit blaming the white man. Roll the clip.
D.C. by masked white nationalists who were also caught on camera riding the metro with a very concerned-looking woman. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. See that picture? Look at that.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Time
Doug Burgum was asked.
Who took that picture, though? That's the thing I'm wondering. Have we gotten to the bottom of that? Who took that picture? You can't tell me that's not propaganda. Roll the clip.
Asked if he condemns the group's message on CNN. He's a Trumper. Watch.
I think that certainly is what they stand for is nothing that I could possibly agree with, but one of the foundational principles of the United States which makes democracy messy is free speech. And there are plenty of things that I see that I might personally find offensive, irreprehensible, but in America, free speech is allowed.
So for that, they're concerned about the First Amendment.
Correct.
But getting Jimmy Kimmel off the air, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Correct. And that's the thing. When I think, unfortunately, in this country, people have different lived experiences. So while some may have a lived experience like this is the best country in the world, and while there's some stuff that goes on, other things are okay. That, for me, was a defining image of modern America for Black Americans. Defining. That Patriot Front is a white nationalist organization founded in 2017 after the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. You know what they promote? An ultra-nationalist ideology that focuses on creating a white ethno-state in the United States with the ultimate goal of reshaping American society to align with their vision of racial and cultural homogeneity. As a Black woman, I'm sitting there in my country, and that's the type of fear I have to experience.
And by the way, show your face. I'm not one to call names, but these losers need to take off their masks, their little old man khakis, show your face if you're going to be a bigot.
And with an American flag on that cap, you might as well have a hood on. You might as well have a hood on, because that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like.
Tell me the last time y'all saw a video with these stew heads with the khakis on. I swear to God, they go away and they come back once a year. I swear to God, I never in my life have seen them in person. The last time I seen them try to play this whole thing, I think was during the election time. All of a sudden, these weirdos in khakis, all dressed alike, all coordinated, somehow shows up to do some little stunts with the American flag. No violence, no threat of violence, no nothing. And they give them fodder to get on TV and say, this is the lived experience. As a Black woman in America, she ain't saying nothing about the Black woman with a booty hole in the air, getting arrested on a thing, getting in trouble. No, that's not the lived experience of Black people. It's this picture of you trying to make her out to be a victim. Here, come on. It's more stupidity. Roll it.
By the way, in this moment, and you're going to hear me say it every time, I will call it out when it's the left and I will call it out when it's the right. Those same hateful marchers who are bigoted anti-Semites that we saw in D.C. this weekend, that is also how Jews feel when they hear people say globalize the Intifada and they are marching through the streets. We need to call it out if it's the far left or far right. Take your bigotry, go home.
I agree with that.
But when you say this is the best nation for who?
Yeah, when you say it's the best nation,
when you say it's the best nation for who? Because if we are celebrating 250 years, what are we exactly celebrating is what I want to know. And so I'm really glad that picture was taken, because that picture is how we feel walking into many rooms down the street. That picture is how we feel, and nobody will believe us. So look at that picture and understand how it feels.
And you never should be made to feel like that. It's wrong that this woman is.
And I said this on this show many, many years ago, because this is my 10th year on the show, and I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American.
I think I'm done listening to these garden tools. First and foremost, let me know what city you talking about. What city are Black people walking into that they're afraid to sit on a bus or be around white people? If you want to keep it real, the safest place that Black people are at is around white people. If you in a community that's majority white, how many times you get robbed? How many times you go to the grocery store and it's getting knocked off and they got gates and stuff in front of the soap and everything? Name a primarily white neighborhood where a black person in, you got to experience that. And it don't have nothing to do with black people. Shut the front door. Most of the time, and everybody knows this that's honest, and I'm going on Jubilee on Sunday, and I'm going to be able to blast these black liberals to no end. But show me a city where that's applicable. It don't exist. It don't exist. I don't know any place in the country. A lot of times people live around other people that are like them. When I was growing up in an all-black neighborhood, it was a number of black people. It wasn't no white people nowhere to be found. So all the issues and everything came from other black people. It was no white people. And a lot of white people live around white people. In the South, it's still segregated. And a lot of the segregation is forced segregation. That means that people they enjoy being around people they want to be around. And so therefore the black people stay over here, white people stay over there. You cannot find white people going into an all-black neighborhood, majority, for the most part, and it being safe, versus black people going into all-white neighborhoods and being safe. I'm telling you, all your favorite rappers live around number white people. Show me where all your favorite singers and actors live in an all-black neighborhood that are white. You can't find one. Your favorite white actor don't live around black people. And I'm not trying to indict every black person because not every black person is bad. I'm just saying y'all better stop lying on TV talking about hey, my lived experience in America is that we don't have a chance. She on the show, they probably paid her $500 to go on that show that day. Old girl probably making $1 million a year being on The View, lying. All right, what's the next? Are we going to the next topic? I got a couple super chats real quick. I wanna answer these real quick. I hate this view, by the way. I want to answer these quick. Let's see. K9 Element, thank you so much for the super chat related to Tyler Robinson. Will we get to see the items accepted into evidence? The answer is, yes and no. I think that if you actually FOIA request some of this information, I think it would be privy since it was a public hearing and it was entered into as evidence, and maybe you could probably FOIA request some of this stuff and have it in your possession. A lot of the evidence that was presented in court that was entered in as evidence was visible, and the court displayed it. Only things that weren't displayed was things that were incredibly graphic, like they played in the court Charlie Kirk actually getting killed, and that was horrific, and nobody wanted to watch it, and they actually didn't even show it to the people that were in the audience, the family, or nobody. Erica was already out of the room. Other people that were there, they didn't get to see it. It was just the attorneys and the judge that viewed it. And I think that was the appropriate way to do it. So the evidence that was presented that I think people can have in their possession, which is on the record, you could probably FOIA request and get that in your possession. Now, him getting murdered on camera is something that evidence you're probably not going to ever see. And rightfully so. All right, we got a second super chat. It says from JV, it says, why didn't Candace show up to the hearing? She claimed to be Charlie's best friend. That's something that you need to ask Candace Owens on her next live show. I don't know. It appears she's on vacation. From what I know, the vacation was already planned. So I don't think that it was a pre-planned thing for her not to be there. But I do think that it's important to be there to support Charlie's family and to support Charlie Kirk's legacy. And if you're there, whether it's Candace or anybody else, if you're there, you'll be able to see the evidence and you'll be able to judge the evidence, whether it's there or not, whether it's legitimate or not. But when you're not there, you can speculate all you want, but you're not confronted with what's really going on. You're not confronted with looking at Tyler Robinson in the courtroom. You're not confronted with hearing what the judge is saying, what the prosecutors are saying, what the defense is raising. You need to be there. That's the best way you can support Charlie, in my opinion. And I'm not specifically talking about Candace because I think she had a vacation already planned. But generally speaking, you should be there or you should be watching. If you want to come out, and I'm saying this for anybody, if you listen to people give their commentary on this and they didn't watch the trial or the pre-trial, I wouldn't even listen to them. All right, let's go to the next super chat. It says, congratulations on the Jubilee, segment. Are you going on Surrounded? This is going to be good. I think I can tell you. I think I'm going on the Surrounded. Y'all know I'm finna work the socks off these people. I'm telling you, man, they ain't really met a guy like me yet. They meet a lot of people that's, ancillary They're kind of here, there. They're kind of adjacent to the black experience, and they kind of, come on. I'm studying. I'm cleaning up, making sure I got everything lined up. So they don't ask me something that I ain't thought about in 3 years. It's finna be fun though. I'm telling y'all. All right, next story, and then we're gonna get out of here. What we got next? Newport Beach? No. What's the other one? It's the black kids fighting beating up that cop. I want to play that. All right, let's roll that. And if y'all want to ask a question, ask in the super chat, and I'll try to answer the question at the end. But I want to show this real quick because this whole string of communication. This is what Sonny hosting them on the show talking about the black experience in America. I'm just afraid and terrified. This is more of the black experience that's more consistent than she lying, living around nothing but white people in Florida. I don't know where Sonny Hostin lives. She lives around nothing but white people. I'm telling you, I could put my life on it. Sonny Hostin is around nothing but white people. She ain't living no black experience. She lying people kissing her butt on a view every single day. She making millions of dollars a year in trash. Come on, talk about this experience. Roll the clip. All right, pause. So this is how it started. You got the cops, because black people don't want to be cops. They don't want to patrol their own community. So the white people got to do it. So you got the white people out here in this all black community trying to rein in these knuckleheads all in the street being violent and crazy. And look at what they do to this female police officer. Go to the next clip. I think that's when they start getting jiggy. Pause. They can't be civilized. And I'm not talking about all black people. I'm talking about these ones. These little YNs and their parents ain't nowhere to be found. How are your kids in a park acting a fool like that and you don't know where they at? It's the parents' fault. Your whole generation of kids stupid, lost. You ain't never going to be nothing in life. If you ain't learning nothing in school, AI, you ain't keeping up with AI, all these jobs that you probably would have had, you ain't gonna have nothing. And then you're gonna be dumb with no job and no opportunities. And then you're gonna really be going to jail and crying about the white man and all this because you ain't gonna have no opportunities acting like this. And these parents, I swear, if it was up to me, there should be a law in place that if your kid that lives in your household is out here getting arrested for stupid stuff like this, you should get a ticket too. It may be civil or something. You should get a ticket for you being a sorry parent and letting your kid get out here and do this. Roll the clip. So the white cop go over there, the lady. Somebody did something, I don't know what they did to her, then she tried to arrest him. So she's trying to arrest her. And look what they do. Somebody got their little boy punching the cop. Is that gunshots?
Hey, back up, that's fine.
Oh, that's fireworks. Chaos. Felonies. And none of them look like they over 18. How is this possible? Next clip. It's what the sheriff had to say. I think it's sheriff or chief. I don't know if that's the county or municipality. It's chief. I think it's the chief. Roll it.
I'm curious if you have any other information about how the situation was put under control. Were officers just putting hands on people? Did they use less lethal weapons like tasers? Do you have any of those details?
Yeah, I know we used taser, right? You saw that. I don't think we used anything else other than hands. Can't confirm. I did not get that information. But again, we were just there telling people to move along and trying to break up fights, right? And we can usually do that with our voices and our presence, and people usually comply, right? Smart people comply, right? Mature people comply.
Say it. There you go.
Juveniles are giving us a hard time, right? They're having problems complying with police officers. That is an issue. We've gone into schools. We've given classes on how to interact with police officers, right? So, I mean, we've changed policy. What more is there for us to do? I'm looking for help. I'm searching for answers.
Yeah, just say it, bro. You want to say it. These black people need to raise their kids better. They need to raise their kids better. Because it's crazy, because you're looking at North Charlotte. Yeah, was that Charleston? North Charleston. And why are all the law enforcement officers white and all the people there are black? That should tell you something. I remember when Chief, I forget his name now. He used to be the chief of the Dallas Police Department. And I remember when the Michael Browns and stuff was going on, and he went out to the street and he said, instead of y'all protesting, come on and fill out the application. I got 400 applications for y'all. I will put you in your own community and let you patrol your own neighborhood. How many people from the community applied to be a police officer? 0. All them young men out there, he said, all you men out there with a sign, put the sign down, come and apply and patrol the streets and protect your own community. I'll put you in the community that you live in. Yeah, Chief Brown. David Brown, right? I remember he was ahead of his time. When he used to fire police officers, he used to tweet when he fired them. I fired officer so-and-so today because she did not uphold the standard and did this and did that. He used to front, and cops used to hate it, but I was like, nah, put these fools on blast. All right, y'all. I pushed through it. I made it. Y'all made it with me, man. Sorry that I couldn't give y'all a better show. Tomorrow will be better. I'm going to get some sleep. But I love you guys. I appreciate you watching. I think we got one more question. Did we have one more question? No, I think that was it. Any question on the trial? Let's see. I think we got a couple more questions. Real quick, I'm going to answer them. I got my phone here. What was the feeling in the courtroom? For me, it was surreal. It was a surreal feeling, man. You're like, dang, it's crazy because you thinking to yourself, dang, I never thought I'll see the day that I'm in a courtroom regarding a trial, and this is a pretrial, because somebody I know in the movement got murdered, assassinated. You get what I'm saying? I never in my life thought I'll be at Charlie Kirk's pretrial because he was murdered by somebody. And then you're there, and then I can't stop thinking about Erica. I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face, because I was with her in the trial. I was with her in the green room and in the family. And my heart breaks for her, because what does she do to deserve this, man? She gets married to a guy who's an incredible guy. She's an incredible woman. They're an incredible couple together. And then all of a sudden, a lunatic decides to kill him because they don't like what he had to say. And while other people are spending their weekends or week going to work, they're going to go home to see their family. They probably on vacation. They're going to do all that. Erica has to endure facing the person who killed her husband and sitting through the trial. This is pre-trial. Then she got to sit through the actual trial where they show evidence and talk about how Charlie was murdered. Anyway, I get worked up when I talk about it. That was the feeling in the courtroom. That's how I felt. It was like surreal, man, being in there and listening to what happened to Charlie. But it was also gratifying that finally evidence is being presented so you nut jobs will shut up and quit lying to people for clicks. And finally people can get real evidence that I've been telling y'all was true from the very beginning. But at least you can get evidence from an impartial source. When I say impartial source, it's in the court of law. You can watch it for yourself and see what the prosecution is presenting and see how the defense objects it. Was Tyler Robinson's parents there? I couldn't tell. It appears that Tyler Robinson's family was on the very back row, but of course I didn't really see who was who. It didn't look like his mom was there, or I don't know what his dad looked like. So it was a couple men there that could have been his dad, but it looked like his family was there. They said at the very back, which I think is the customary way that they seat the families in this court. So it's not like they did it for any other reason, but I think the way they coordinated the court was that the family had to sit in the back. Why homicide, not murder? I think that's a good question. I think the difference is that this is how it's determined. If a homicide means that you were just killed by another person. A murder means that it was a targeted killing by a person, right? When somebody's, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody is doing an autopsy and they don't have a suspect, they can't argue that this was an intentional killing. They can only argue that this person was killed by another person, right? So let me just give you an example. Like, so if you are walking down the street, somebody do a drive-by shooting and it wasn't intended to hit you and you get killed, right? I think that in the preliminary stages, they would consider that to be a homicide. Means that the fact pattern that they have currently is that you were killed by another person, right? A murder is that they have somebody that they can point to and say, this person killed this person intentionally. And I think that's where to draw the difference between a homicide and murder. I could be wrong on some points. I think I'm pretty accurate. Am I accurate? I'm not accurate. Give me the accuracy.
Manslaughter would be more of an accidental. Homicide is murder. Essentially, it's the same idea.
No, I'm talking about in the context. No, I'm talking about in the context of an autopsy, because the argument came up in court that the autopsy, she said a murder, or at least what they said was murder. The cause of death was murder, gunshot wound to the neck. And the correction was it's a homicide, gunshot wound to the neck. And I think that in that context, the difference between homicide and murder is whether you have a motive and intent to go along with how the person got murdered. If you don't have a suspect or anything, you don't even know where the shot came from or anything, they have to generically say that it was a homicide because you were killed, but they don't know how, they don't know why, they don't have the circumstances technically when they do the autopsy. So I think I'm kind of right. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see if there's any other questions. But yeah, what you were talking about, Brad, was more of whether or not it's first degree murder, second degree murder in the sense of the way somebody's charged. And I can go through that with you guys too. You know, the first degree murder is premeditated murder. Second degree murder is when somebody intentionally kill you. And manslaughter is typically when you do something negligent that result in the death of another person unintentionally. And in different states, they have different things, right? You know, if you unintentionally murder somebody, but your actions was gross and negligent and without due regard for human life, you could be charged with murder or second degree murder in certain states. In the state of Arizona, there's different levels to it. You know, first degree murder is obviously always premeditation. Second degree murder is you have to intentionally murder somebody. There's no gross negligence that leads to second degree murder. They just considered that manslaughter in Arizona. But it's different in different states, but generically speaking, and premeditation can be gained in an instance. Like if I was sitting here, just say I was sitting here and somebody yelled at me and said, Brandon, your podcast suck. And I push them down the stairs and kill them. I intentionally pushed them down there and killed them, right? I did that intentionally, but it was no premeditation. It was an instantaneous, I did this, I killed you. Now, premeditation is I see somebody standing by the stairs and I know they've been talking trash about my podcast for the last month now. And I say, next time they walk in front of the stairs, I'm gonna go push them down there, and I push them down and they die, right? That's me premeditating. I created a premeditation in my mind. And premeditation can happen like this too, because a person could be at the stairs and we could be getting into a confrontation. And then I can say to myself, well, I'm going to push them down there to kill them, right? And it's not an instantaneous act of fury or, you know, spontaneous. It's like I thought to myself, I'm going to push them to kill them down the stairs. That you can gain premeditation in that little window. All right, I think I'm almost over. Let's see. I hear you, but I'm gonna pass on that. Will he get the death penalty? What is Tyler's demeanor? Tyler Robinson's demeanor, I couldn't really tell. I think he never left the court when we did recess and stuff. He stayed in, or they may have taken him back to the back. I couldn't see his face. I only could see the back of his head because I sat like right behind him. I mean, nobody was doing anything extraordinary because the judge made it very clear that people can't do any outbursts or anything like that outside of an emotional thing. You know, obviously, if you see Charlie get killed, people want to cry and stuff like that. But anything outside of that, it didn't appear that his demeanor was anything other than just calm. Like from the back when I was looking, you know, I could see the back of his head, and he wasn't doing anything but just sitting there and watching the clips and talking to his counsel every now and again. Will he get the death penalty? I think he should get the death penalty. The prosecution is going to need to, you know, hump it a little bit because you in order for you to put somebody to death, you got to be on it. You got to be all over it, on like Donkey Kong. You got to be whooping the defense so bad that they submit. Now, here's what I think should happen if I was a defense attorney. When the probable cause, because they haven't put in a plea yet, right? And there's no reason to put in a plea because the prosecution has to develop probable cause. And if they don't, there's no reason for you to plead guilty or not because they haven't even established probable cause. So I personally think if I was the defense team, if the judge finds probable cause at the end of this, they should just plea. They should plead guilty so he don't get the death penalty. Because there's so much, in my opinion, based on what I've seen and what they've presented so far and what they have presented in the past in the news, there's so much overwhelming evidence that if you make it to trial, it's gonna be a bad day. That's all I'm saying, based on what the evidence is suggested and has been presented so far. But we'll see at the end of this probable cause hearing if, in fact, they develop probable cause. All right, that it? All right. Did anyone mention Egyptian planes? The defense has not mentioned Egyptian planes. The defense has not brought up anything about exploding microphones. The defense is not saying the military did it. The defense isn't saying Trump did it. The government did it. Israel did it. Benjamin Netanyahu. The defense haven't mentioned any of those things, okay? So it's not too late for them to do it, I guess, at some point, but I'll let you know if they do it. But there's no indication that the defense is arguing anything that these weirdos online are arguing. Okay. All right. Love you guys. See you on the next one. I'm out.